Yo, what's up, Toxie fam? Get ready for a whirlwind of combat sports news. First up, Shotzi Blackheart is defending Ronda Rousey, saying people don't give her enough credit. What's the inside scoop from a fellow competitor? Then, we're diving deep into the world of fight management as Dana White blasts a former UFC champion's team for costing them millions. What massive opportunities were missed? We're also taking a trip down under to revisit 5 memorable UFC moments in Australia, including a record-breaking night that saw Ronda Rousey's stunning knockout. And finally, Dana White is firing back at the notion that the UFC lacks superstars. He's got thoughts, and we're breaking them all down. Stick around, you don't want to miss this. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. Shotzi Blackheart defends Ronda Rousey. People don't give her enough credit. Shotzi Blackheart is setting the record straight on her experience working with WWE superstar Ronda Rousey, revealing a side of the former champion that might surprise many. During their feud over the SmackDown Women's Championship in 2022, Shotzi had a first-hand opportunity to compete against Rousey. Far from the polarizing fan perception, Shotzi described Rousey as incredibly professional and dedicated to crafting compelling matches. She detailed how Rousey would personally invite her to her home for training sessions and was always eager to take Shotzi's most impactful moves, demonstrating a commitment to making their encounters as exciting as possible. Shotzi specifically highlighted Rousey's willingness to absorb brutal bumps and her intense focus on creating memorable moments in the ring. "I really like working with Ronda," Shotzi shared on the TMZ Inside the Ring podcast. She was always so cool. She would invite me to her house to come train with her. And she was always down to just take the most brutal bumps, especially after our pay-per-view match, she was taking some crazy bumps for me. And she would go and look and find all of my craziest moves. And she would be like, "I want to take this. Let me take this." So yeah, she was always so down. People don't give her enough credit. And when she's focused, she's laser-focused on making something look really awesome. Addressing concerns about Rousey's in-ring style, Shotzi refuted claims of her being stiff. She explained that Rousey's strikes were executed safely and effectively, and while her judo throws were indeed gnarly to take, they were performed with professional precision. "No, all of her strikes and stuff, I didn't feel at all. She just made them look really good. Her judo throws are pretty gnarly to take. Those are legit. But other than that, yeah, none of her stuff really landed crazy. I didn't feel it absolutely wrecked after wrestling her." Shotzi's candid remarks offer a valuable counterperspective to the often heated discussions surrounding Ronda Rousey's WWE tenure, emphasizing her dedication and collaborative spirit behind the scenes. Don't go anywhere. We've got explosive insights into fight management decisions that cost millions next. Dana White blasts former UFC champion's team for costing them millions. Dana White, the ever-outspoken president of the UFC, has once again lambasted fighter management teams, pointing to the handling of Holm's career as a prime example of missed financial opportunities. Following Holm's shocking upset victory over Ronda Rousey at UFC 193 in 2015, the rematch with Rousey was positioned to be a monumental, career-defining event, potentially generating unprecedented pay-per-view revenue. White revealed that substantial, life-changing money was on the table for Holm to face Rousey again. However, Holm's management team opted to have her defend her title against Miesha Tate for a fraction of the potential earnings from a Rousey rematch. Speaking on the Jim Rome show, White expressed his disbelief at the decision. "These are the same guys that had Holm and, in my opinion, ruined her life," White stated. "I told them in that meeting, you can ask my matchmakers, Lorenzo Fertitta," I said. "She's going to lose by choke. She's going to choke her out." And that's exactly what happened. For the same money instead of fighting Ronda for life-changing money. That would have changed her life. This incident is not an isolated case for White, who also recalled a similar situation with Jon Jones' former coach, Greg Jackson, whose advice led to the cancellation of UFC 151. White views these decisions as detrimental to fighters' careers and the sport as a whole, highlighting a recurring frustration with management teams that, in his eyes, mismanage lucrative opportunities. Fans and analysts have widely discussed the financial implications of this decision, with many agreeing that Holm and her team missed out on a historic payday. The discussion continues to fuel debates about the role and influence of managers in shaping fighter careers and maximizing their earning potential. Stay tuned as we revisit some of the most electrifying moments in UFC history down under. 5 memorable UFC moments in Australia, including Ronda Rousey's stunning knockout. Australia has a storied history with the UFC, hosting some of the promotion's most unforgettable nights, and ahead of UFC Perth, we're looking back at 5 iconic moments. Among the highlights is the seismic upset at UFC 193 in Melbourne, where Holm delivered a stunning head kick knockout to Ronda Rousey, ending her undefeated streak in front of a record-breaking crowd of over 56,000. This event is etched in UFC lore as one of the biggest upsets in the sport's history. Another unforgettable night occurred at UFC Fight Night 55 in Sydney, which set a record for the most finishes on a single card, with all 11 fights ending before the judges' scorecards. This event showcased incredible performances, including Mark Hunt's decisive knockout of Frank Mir and Luke Rockhold's submission victory over Michael Bisping. The UFC's debut in Brisbane in 2013 featured a brutal heavyweight war between Mark Hunt and Antonio Bigfoot Silva that ended in a rare majority draw, captivating fans with its sheer intensity. Additionally, UFC 110 saw Cain Velasquez deliver a swift knockout victory over Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira, setting the stage for his future title pursuits. These moments underscore Australia's passionate fanbase and its significance in shaping UFC history, providing thrilling spectacles that continue to resonate with fans worldwide. But is the UFC still producing stars? Dana White has a very strong opinion on that, coming up next. Dana White blasts notion that UFC lacks superstars. Despite the retirements of iconic figures like Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey, and Khabib Nurmagomedov, UFC President Dana White vehemently rejects the narrative that the promotion is suffering from a lack of superstars. White addressed these concerns on the IMPALSIV podcast, stating that this narrative has persisted throughout the UFC's history, often surfacing during significant fighter departures. He pointed to the UFC's recent lucrative $7.7 billion TV deal with Paramount Plus as evidence of the organization's continued strength and appeal. White criticized those who question the UFC's star power, asserting they lack a true understanding of the business. The problem is that literally nobody knows anything about this F***seeking business. They all have an opinion, but they don't know Jack *T, White declared. He argued that while modern fighters like Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev have strong regional followings, they haven't yet reached the global superstardom of previous eras. White also highlighted other ventures like power slap and boxing, where fighters have seen significant financial success, suggesting that the UFC's financial metrics demonstrate its robust health. He further emphasized the UFC's position by mentioning its involvement in major boxing events and its own expanding portfolio. "Believe me when I F***seeking tell you, we have no problems," White asserted, projecting confidence in the UFC's current and future trajectory. While the debate over whether the UFC is effectively cultivating new global icons continues, White remains steadfast in his belief that the promotion's business model and market position are unassailable. That's all the fight talk for today, but stick around for our lightning-fast recap and your chance to win. And that's a wrap on today's hottest combat sports news. We heard Shotzi Blackheart defending Ronda Rousey's in-ring work, Dana White calling out fighter management for costing millions, a look back at incredible UFC moments in Australia, including Rousey's shock knockout, and White shutting down claims of a UFC superstar drought. Don't miss out on any of the action. Hit that like button, subscribe to Toxie for more exclusive content, ring the notification bell so you're always in the loop, drop a comment below with your thoughts, and follow us on all our social media platforms. We'll see you next time.